Imagine if you were walking out on the street and you saw somebody and you had to decide if you were going to be friends with that person simply on the style of their hair. Pretty superficial, right? Especially as a sage archetype, this is probably making you cringe because what we want to know is what that person is like. We want to know what their values are, what they believe, how they think, if they're smart, if we can have intelligent conversations with them. So, similar to this, people don't only make decisions about the brands that they want to work with based on the colors and the logos of that particular brand. We just don't operate that way. We don't form emotional bonds with logos. We form emotional bonds with universal ideas that are present in these brands that are willing to take this emotional and deeply rooted worldview. So let's figure out what that is for your specific brand. We're going to speak about, again, your values and beliefs that are going to drive all of the rest of the decision making that you do regarding your archetype and how to bring it to life in your brand. And then at the end, we're also going to talk about how the world sees you through your personality. The key here, as you're looking at some of these brand values, and I've done the hard work for you, I've taken hundreds of brand values and distilled it down to ones that are on brand for you. Now, the fun thing is, now that you have this starting place, you can hit up the thesaurus or even search for things in Pinterest if you're a visual thinker and see what else comes up. So if you're looking at synonyms and related ideas, you might find something that's more specific to you and what you believe, what your values are, than these specific words. But these are a good starting place. So values like accuracy, awareness, brilliance, logic, fluency, hence the name of this course. I'm a magician primary and a sage secondary archetype. So you see pieces of sage show up in my brand a lot. Meaning, science, universal truth, expertise, meticulousness, excellence, all of these are very sage values. So I'm going to plant a seed here that I'm not going to revisit until the last video in this training. But you may have done this exercise before where you pick words that are unique to your business. But if that's as far as you go, it's not going to have a big impact on your brand or on the way that your clients and customers see you or on your sales. The exercise in just picking words, your top 1, 2, or 3 brand values, which I'd like you to narrow down to, in of itself is not very impactful. What needs to happen in your brand is you have to decide how that particular brand value is going to come to life in your business. So again, I'm going to cover this in more detail in the last video, but I want to get your wheels turning so that you can start seeing ideas for this throughout the rest of the training. So if your top brand value is logic, start to think about the ways that you could show that in your business. So you could do that by showing lots of statistics, using hard numbers and data. You could also cite different like academic studies in your work, validate and support any information that you're giving with studies that have been done by other people, other academics or other smart people, other experts. You could also bring in related experts into your business to make your product or your service even better than it is now. There's also a sense of like optimization and tracking data that you could incorporate into your business to add more of this brand value of logic. So you make sure that you're making decisions based on what's actually happening instead of on emotion, which is counterintuitive, right? Because we know that we make decisions on emotion, but it's always good to support it with data. So you could incorporate that brand value into your business in those ways. So again, the key here is you're going to want to narrow down to your top 1, 2, or 3 brand values. And I'm actually going to give you I'm going to explain the worksheet that's in your guidebook to do this at the end. And then also start to think about what these values mean for you. How does it affect how you actually operate in the world, how you work with clients, how you build your product, etc., etc. And that's where your brand is going to come to life. You can also extend your brand values by deciding some belief statements for your brand. So things that are common to the sage archetype for brand beliefs, and these are like rallying cries for your ideal clients and customers. By sharing what you believe as a brand on a very deep core level, you're going to attract the people that also believe the same, or they admire that belief, or they have complementary beliefs, and you're going to repel people who have contradictory beliefs. So things like, there's always something more to be learned. The truth will set you free. Plan to succeed and work smarter, not harder, are all beliefs that are common in sage archetype brands. Or you can search for some of those keywords. So like search for your values on Pinterest, and you might come up with even more ideas, like stay curious, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value, said Albert Einstein. All of these are examples of ways to bring to life, to add some depth and some detail to some of those brand values by creating manifesto statements or credo statements about what you believe to be true about the world. And again, this is incredibly powerful for attracting the right clients to your brand when you use these type of quotes or messaging in everything. So everything from your blog posts to your interviews to your product descriptions to your headlines, if they draw inspiration from this core fundamental meaning of your brand, they become much more emotional and impactful. All right, lastly, let's talk about ways that the world sees you. This is your brand personality. And again, I've gotten you started by giving you words that are on brand for you. So when people think about you, they think of you as a person with a great sense of awareness, that you are brilliant. There's some words here that aren't awesome, so I'm just deleting them as we go here. You ask lots of questions. You have a desire to understand why things work, not just how they work, but both. They think of you as a genius, that you're impactful, impartial, insightful, you're a luminary, all of these good things. Now, we're going to want to narrow these down, again, similar to the values, to the top 1, 2, or 3. And I have an exercise in your workbook to do this. It's affectionately called Hot or Not, as a tribute to the website that was hugely popular in the 2000s when I was in high school. And what you're going to do is to pair up 2 of these words that might seem related, and then make a decision about which one better communicates your brand. So you might decide that you are logical and rational. But when you look at those 2 words, they have 2 slightly different meanings. So make a decision about which one better describes your business. And you can continue to do this, continue to whittle down by pairing up and choosing the winner of each of the brand attributes that you think communicates your brand until you get down to those top 1, 2, or 3. Then that becomes a powerful tool that you can use. And you could even stick it on a Post-it note on your computer so that you can check some of your, sorry, I just got a text message. It ruined my train of thought. So you can check these against what you're actually doing. You can look at your home, like the messages that you're writing on the blog, and you can ask yourself, do I sound or look logical here? Am I communicating that personality effectively? So have fun. I'm excited to see what comes out of this process for you, and I will see you in the next video.